What I want to talk about today is what I would do, and more importantly, what I would not do if I had an annuity and it was not performing at the level that I thought it would perform at, or what I was led to believe it should produce in terms of an earnings rate. So where this usually happens is with indexed annuities, when I purchase the product really to grow my money safely, and then the advertised rate or what I saw in the illustration doesn't happen and it's not even close. I end up feeling like this, which frankly, no one wants to feel like this in any type of situation. So what we have is a situation, it's based on a real case. Someone was 44 years old. We've worked with them on other products and they said, hey, I have an annuity. I'm looking at some options to get out of it. And the reason why is because my account value is $250,000 right now. This was funded from an old IRA, so it's a qualified annuity, and their plan is just to let it grow until they retire. But last year, when we looked at the returns, the market did well. We earned less than 5%. And when we bought this annuity, years where the market produced 10% or more, we should have gotten at least 10%. Based on what's called our cap rate with an annuity. If you don't know what that is, with an indexed annuity, we'll just call this indexed annuity. If you have a cap rate, call it of 10%, and the index you're using is the S&P 500, what that means is if the S&P 500 produces 15%, your account value goes up, not 15%, but it goes up with the market until it hits the cap, which in this case is 10%. Now the thing about a cap rate is they can change after you start an annuity. What I've seen is some insurance companies have strong renewal rate history, meaning they don't adjust the cap rates very much. And some companies don't have a very good cap rate history, where I might start an annuity that has a 15% or 10% cap rate, whatever, and after I'm in that contract for several years, they reduce the cap rate, which limits my earnings. So he's in a position where this annuity is actually for his 44-year-old wife, but he's in a position where the performance just is not what they wanted. So he had reached out and said, hey, I'm interested in getting out of this annuity. We provided education around the different types of annuities because what he wanted to do is just transfer it to a different annuity. Now there's a issue with that, but before I do that, or before I go through the issues, I want to talk about what he was interested in. So he was interested in two potential options. So let's call it option A. Was just a straight fixed annuity. That's just very straightforward, where he said, okay, what's just a guaranteed fixed rate? Which right now, these are in the neighborhood of 5.5%. Some are a bit higher. And they can typically go up to 10 years. So what that means is he could just move the money into a fixed annuity, kind of like a CD at a bank account, not the exact same thing, but what it means is I'm guaranteed 5.5% per year compound interest for the next 10 years. If interest rates decline over the next 10 years, I'm still guaranteed 5.5% per year for the next 10 years. So it's straightforward. It's a peace of mind product. It's attractive to some people. He was attracted to it to a degree, but the fixed interest rate at 5.5% at her age of 44 ultimately said, I don't know about that. Let's try and do something a little bit stronger without any market risk, which is where the indexed annuity came into play. So in his situation, what he was looking to do is get out of one annuity and get into another, which I don't really think is a good idea. And here's why. So if he transfers to a different annuity, what's going to happen? Well, we mentioned before that his account value is $250,000. This annuity is not 10 years old. I believe it was 4 or 5 years old. So his account value was 250 grand. The annuity is not 10 years old. It's about 4 or 5 years old. But he has what is called a surrender fee or surrender charge of about $30,000. So what that means is if he were to cash out of the annuity or transfer it to a different annuity, the insurance company that his current annuity is with would pocket that surrender fee. So the surrender value is the account value minus the surrender fee, which would be how much? That'd be $220,000. So that's the hard part right there. I mean, if it's me, am I going to make that move knowing that the insurance company is keeping 30 grand if I make that move right now? That's a tough decision. The only way I might do that is if the earnings with the new annuity can exceed what I was earning in the last annuity and make up very quickly for that $30,000 loss, which is going to be tough with an annuity. I would not bank on that. An illustration might show that. So in the projection, it could look like, hey, yeah, this is possible. But keep in mind, the annuity that he has right now, that originally projected returns much higher than 5%. But what happened is the insurance company adjusted the cap rate after he started that annuity contract, which limited the earnings. So that's what I would want to be aware of. Now, here's something that came up that was really interesting. He had been speaking with another agent that is in the annuity space, and the other agent said, hey, one of the things you can do, since your annuity value right now is $220,000, the surrender value that is, like the net amount that would be transferred, what you can do is put your annuity into a product that offers a premium bonus. So a premium bonus is a bonus. I'm getting additional dollars from the insurance company that are being deposited to my account. So I'll see more money there on day one. Sometimes I'll see a bonus of 10%. I'm going to show you an example of one of those. And it was pitched to him in a manner like this. The premium bonus can make up for that surrender fee, or you'll be able to recapture that money very quickly, which on the surface sounds like a good idea. Because if I don't like what I currently have, because it's not performing, and I can get into a new annuity product that may perform better, perhaps it's with a more reputable company, and that company is going to offer a premium bonus, let's say it's $20,000 to $25,000, now I've made up for the majority of that $30,000 surrender charge that I'm going to lose when I transfer it to the annuity. There's something to be aware of though. So first, let's look at an annuity without a premium bonus. So if he says, you know what, I'm just sick of this thing, I want to get out of it right now, I don't care about the surrender fee, I feel like I was lied to, what does it look like if I just take my 220 and I move that into a new indexed annuity? Show me what that looks like, and then we can compare that with the same annuity, but it has a premium bonus. So first we'll look at it without the PB, premium bonus. All right, here we go. So here's the annuity illustration. The deposit that we're moving over is $220,000. You can see that right here. There's our premium just above 220. So that is the net surrender value that they have on their annuity contract right now, or at the time that we had the discussion. So what this is showing is what the performance will look like based on the most recent 10 years of stock market history. This is linking it to the S&P 500 index with current cap rates, caps, and spreads, which are different strategies used that ultimately determine how much interest we're going to get with the annuity contract. So what we've got, if they move that 220 over, this is an annuity without the premium bonus. Contract value, that's another name for the account value. The first year, if the market does well, I could earn $15,000. That gets me up to $236,000. Surrender value, however, is $216,000. As I look at the market history, I can see that the contract value continues to increase. However, you'll notice that that contract value is always higher than the surrender value until year 11. The first 10 years, there are surrender fees. So if he's about 4 or 5 years into his existing annuity, he's halfway through the surrender fees. Does he want to start a new 10-year period right now? That's the first question I would ask if I'm him. Personally, I'd have a hard time doing that. So that's the first thing we looked at. And then next, we looked at the annuity with the premium bonus. So let's isolate the first year here. Your contract value is $236,000. Surrender value is $216,000. This is without the premium bonus. Now let's look at it with the premium bonus. Contract value. Look at that. $260,000. Why is it so much higher? Because the interest credited in this example is actually a little bit less. And this is based on the same 10-year period. Right? It's the same illustration. The only difference is that we have a premium bonus here. So the contract value is higher, but look at that. Is the surrender value that much higher? No, it's not initially. So I do want to keep that in mind. A premium bonus typically does not offer a situation where I can take the bonus and then cash out early and get that money because, hey, I was bonused it and that's going to enhance my surrender value. I don't see that in this case. The premium bonus is right here underneath optional benefits, optional premium enhancement. So again, how this was sold to him by another agent in the annuity space, just from a different conversation he had, was like this. The premium bonus can help make up for the surrender fee that you have right now. And you can get into a different annuity now, and you don't have to wait until the surrender fees are up, which was appealing to him because he really was not happy with this annuity and having to stick with it for another 5 years. Before he pulled that trigger, here's something very, very important to be aware of. I'm like, all right, I might hold up on that. Here's why. You've been disappointed with your current annuity because it's performed at a lower rate than where your expectations were initially set, right? Yes, that's exactly it. So when we look at annuities with premium bonuses, or when we look at any annuities, what's very important to look at is the fine print. Here we go. So the premium bonus is referred to as that optional premium enhancement. Right? Here it is right here on page 13. Excellent reading material if you're trying to fall asleep at night. But look at it. It's small, tiny print. How many people do you think actually read this? And this is just on an illustration. When you look at the formal contract, it's extremely thick. But here's what I want to hit on here. So when I look at this, the optional premium enhancement will result in lower crediting rates, caps, participation rates, trigger rates, and higher spreads for the contract's crediting strategies, yada, yada, yada. My point of mentioning this, and what's important to be aware of, is a premium bonus, in this particular case, provides the immediate gratification of, hey, I can get out of this other annuity that's not performing that well right now. However, if you do that, what this is saying right here is that it can result in lower cap rates over time. What's the issue or the big problem with your current annuity? The reduced cap rate. That's why it's performing at about a 5% rate or less than that. So my concern with going with an annuity that has a premium bonus to make up for that surrender charge is now he's got a new 10-year surrender period with an annuity that is telling us in the fine print that they can reduce the cap rates and other rates, or strategies, I should say, that ultimately impact the growth, and he could be back in the exact same position he is right now, only he will have eaten that surrender fee or the surrender fee on the existing annuity, and he's got another 10-year runway he's got to deal with. That's where I would look at it and say, I don't know that I would do that. And one last thing you can do whenever you're looking at a premium bonus, because up front it does give the instant gratification. Wow, look at this that I'm getting up front. However, let's look at year 10. We're still with the premium bonus. Let's look at year 11 because there's no more surrender charges after that. You're at 396. Have that in mind. How about year 20? 573. So let's call it 400 and 570 for simplicity. So we've got premium bonus, tenth year, 20th year. 20th was 570. And the 10th, my memory is failing me. Oh, I'm sorry, 11th year was 400, 396 it was. So this is the 11th year. Can you see where I'm going? Okay, so that's with premium bonus. What about no premium bonus? What does that look like at the same point in time? Let's do this. '11th year and 20th year. Without premium bonus. 11th year. You're at 402. Just about the same. Year 20, you're at 645. 400 and 645. Not much different the first 10 years. There is a difference long term just based on the illustration. The thing that makes me uncomfortable is this guy. They're telling me that the cap rates can be less. And that is a problem with annuities, where I've got this attractive cap rate up front, which will make the illustration look really, really good, and then the company reduces it after the fact. This is what happens with indexed universal life insurance all the time when you look at the same thing with life insurance. That's why it's a big problem in many cases. But the purpose of this video is annuities, not life insurance. So, long story short, what did we ultimately recommend for him? My recommendation was to do nothing. Keep what you have. What you can do is look to rebalance, where you can reallocate where your funds are currently being credited in your existing annuity. But what I would do with that guy is keep it through the surrender period. This way you don't have to deal with any fees. Your wife is still young. She'll be about 50 years old when you can make a move with that. Her plan is to start using the money in retirement, so 59 and a half or later. So as much as you might not like it because it hasn't been performing, there are some moves, again, where we can try and rebalance it to kick the performance up, or you could just move it into a fixed crediting rate account. But I wouldn't deal with this. And then after those surrender fees are over, then I would look to transfer it into a new annuity. And if you're 50 years old at that time, we'll see what options are available. But what I might look at is either just a fixed annuity, where we're just looking at a flat fixed rate, kind of like what we talked about up here, see what the rate is at that point in time, so fixed. Or we can look at a guaranteed income annuity, which can be nice, especially if you're deferring it for 10 years or 15 years. You can really call it buy a nice income stream down the road, depending on what they want to do. They're in a good position. So his wife's 44. She's got $250K in that annuity from an old rollover. She's an executive at a major bank, so she does well, where she's got a lot in different retirement accounts too. So we're looking at options with this particular annuity, but she's in a good position. So with all of that said, I would keep what you have, even though it's not performing. Try and rebalance exactly where the funds are allocated to see if we can try and get a higher crediting rate. But I wouldn't eat the surrender fees, and the premium bonus potentially ends up hurting you more in the long run, just when we looked at the contract language and such. With all of that said, I do hope that this video was helpful. Let us know your thoughts, and if you have any questions below, feel free to leave them below. And as always, I hope this helps. Thanks so much.